and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Administrative reports.
Yes, so under admin reports tonight, we do have Dr. Carmen Ayala from the School Board Association present with us this evening to talk about the superintendent search. Carmen and I had the chance to speak on the phone last week and kind of gave her an update about where we stood in the process. We do have the document that you reviewed earlier today with the new information on. You'll have that later tonight. Is there anything the board wanted to speak to Dr. Ayala about? Part of the process?
Yeah, we do need to discuss the salary range. There was some discussion tonight during closed session about a range. And my understanding is that the board is collectively in agreement between 165 and 205. Does anybody have any questions or comments on that?
I think my question for you was, is there too wide of a range or too narrow of a range?
Generally, I've been seeing around $40,000 to $50,000 as a range. You want to give yourself enough room for negotiation and to also take into account experience and things of that nature.
Okay.
And that's not to say that through the negotiation process, adjustments are made. You always have that right and that opportunity. But by law, we now have to post a range. I'm also going to need a list of benefits that has to be included as well.
Right, okay.
Yes. Okay,
That's
so
good enough. Thank you.
40 to 50, then we're right in there. Yeah, okay, great. Any other comments or questions?
Anything that you want to share with the board about you or the process you're going to go through to select the best possible candidates for it?
Well, if I look a little familiar to you, yes, I was the former state superintendent. So I have access and relationships with many, many school districts across the state. So I'm going to bring that forward. I've been with the School Board Association for 2 years now, doing several searches and supporting them. We have a reach out of 7,000 to 8,000 individuals that are on our listserv, if you will, and we push out the information minimally at least 4 times. So that's a very heavy pool, and that 7,000 to 8,000 include current superintendents who may be looking to do something different, other central office administrators. It may comprise of school building administrators interested in moving forward, or individuals who are just completing the requirements for the licensure for superintendents. So there's a wide range. In addition to that, we are a member of the National Affiliation of Superintendent Searches, and that is comprised of 39 of the states, and the position is advertised throughout those 39 states through their respective school board associations. We are transitioning into a new application system called Revelus. And Revelus is a home base in Ohio, and it has a membership of, I think they're up to 17 states now, 16 or 17 states. So anybody going into Revelus throughout those 16, 17 states will see the posting of the Prairie Grove superintendency. So there's a very wide outreach nationally as well as across the state. Sometimes we're asked the question of headhunting, and I'll just put it out there. We don't generally do headhunting, and by headhunting I mean I would pull John and say, hey John, I've got a district over here that's looking for a superintendent. That's like taking your superintendent trying to persuade them to move elsewhere. We don't do that directly. But because you are a member of the Illinois Association of School Boards, and we have high contact with the districts, we know who wants to move and who wants to make a change and those kinds of things. So they will many times reach out to us to find out what might be forthcoming, if you will. So lots of experience on the team. I will be leading this search for you. As soon as we get the announcement of vacancy, we will get that all updated. You'll get a final, and once we receive the stamp of approval, it is professionally done through our association, and it gets pushed out to 8,000 plus people. And we will continue to talk to people, have conversations. I understand you have some dates for interviews and things of that nature, so we don't need to go through that. I went through the job description that I think you're going to be discussing today, and I did align a part of the vacancy with the qualifications. So I looked at that to make sure that was aligned in the announcement as well. So that, and the only other thing would be, who would be the point person that I would work with? In many districts, it is many times the board president and the administrative assistant. There is a point where superintendent, try to keep everybody comfortable and everything. It's a little awkward if you're working with the search team that's gonna look for the replacement. So I would need to know who you would like that individual to be, and we would be in close contact.
Sure. So this is my first time being part of a superintendent search. What was standard with Kushali, do you remember?
Well,
Past president?
the last year, when we did the deputy search, I was the one person
Right.
in the district, so it doesn't matter to me.
And you were not here when Kushali. Okay,
Can I ask a question?
yes.
Is this, when do you need this answer by? Is it,
Usually by the time we finish with the announcement of vacancy, we get all the dates lined up and everything. As we start receiving applications and screening, at that point, it probably would be best to have a point person on board.
Okay, that gives us.
yeah, that we,
Sort of thing.
Right.
I didn't want to think that we had to make a decision right here on the spot.
Sure.
So it was just-
And I would work hand in hand with you. Matter of fact, I have my business cards that I'll leave. You will have my contact information and can reach me at any time there's a question or anything that comes up. Robin, each one of you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And it has my own cell phone number on it, so please feel free if any question comes up. No question is a bad question. And so even if you're new to the process, we will work hand in hand with you. Ultimately, the decision for who that superintendent will be the board's decision. But we will work with you on screening of applicants, helping you develop questions. There is the opportunity for training on how to do an interview, the do's and don'ts. So we can talk about those things a little later in the process.
Wonderful, thank you. Are there any other questions from the board?
Thank you.
You're welcome. I look forward to working with you.
So for to finish up my report then, so I wanted to just bring to your attention the construction finance tracking document. I did update it from our decision last month to do the emergency abatement. So I added the $87,200, that's the cost of the actual abatement company plus the administrative cost from Gallagher Bassett. Part of that's billed of this month's bill list, part of it is not. I did update that information on the forms. If you look back at month over month, you'll see a different line item on there. I kind of put it in italics and it's in the green. just as an FYI for you.
Thank you. And that work is completed.
It is finished.
How's everything going?
It is actually not doing too bad. It's the one great thing we've got going this summer right now is that work is coming along fine. Floor is not fully in, but the floor is now in. New equipment has been installed, paint, scoreboards. It looks like an outset and a entirely new space. It looks really good.
Did we get a new one in the junior high too, scoreboard or not?
Not yet, it's not here yet.
Any other questions?
No.
All right. Anything else? All right, great. May I have a motion to approve the student lunch rate for the 2025-26 school year?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, explain this.
So back in February, we set all student fee rates for the year. If you recall, in February, we didn't set the student lunch fee. At that time, we were still in the middle of our food service bid. So we waited until that was done. Plus, we also waited until the paid lunch equity tool was out from the USDA before we set that. And now we brought it back as I promised back then. We bring it as soon as we have the information. Here it is for you. We are running negative in the student fees. We've had conversations at the board level about overdue lunch accounts and things. You can see last year's $29,500 in student lunch fees. That's sort of a side note there. But we went through the process of looking at the paid lunch equity tool, working through the numbers, and the recommendation is for a 10-cent increase for next year. So we're setting the student rate for lunches at $3.45 for paid lunches. Reduced rate stays the same, that's set by statute at 40 cents. And obviously, if you're on the free lunch area, the cost is $0. That's just for the first lunch. Many of our students don't get enough to eat from the one single class A lunch. And so many of the students that are on a free lunch or on reduced lunch do have large deficits because they go back for extras. It's been the philosophy of the board until this point not to prevent them from eating. We want them to eat the food, we want them to be nourished, to go to class and ready to learn. So we'll follow that same procedure this year unless you decide to change course.
I'm not in favor of changing course. I think we've had several discussions about that in the past. Certainly 29,000 deficit is quite a bit. Knowing that a lot of that is the second lunch though, I think gives some context.
My child don't know.
Remind me, last year, what was the increase?
10 cents.
It was 10
10
cents.
cents.
Right, that's what I thought. Thank you. Okay, any questions? Roll call vote?
David Costa,
Yes.
Stephanie Housh,
Yes.
Rebecca Jenkins,
Yes.
Jennifer Regolick,
Yes.
Nicole Segura,
Yes.
Josie Shattuck,
Yes.
motion carried.
May I have a motion to approve the parking lot camera contract for the Valley View lot and the Route 176 lot?
So moved.
Second.
So we talked a little bit about this last month. Can
We
you?
talked in depth about this last month
Yes.
about purchasing the cameras because we're getting at a reduced rate, but only installing the ones that were fixed onto the building or in the new lot in Valley View, and holding the installation for the 176 parking lot until that parking lot is redone in the future. So you chose option 3, so that's what was presented to you tonight as option 3 for your approval.
Great. And what is the timeline for these going in? You know.
Well, since it's outside work, it doesn't necessarily have to be done prior to the start of school year. But obviously, we'll want to get it done. Once it's approved, we'll want to get it done as soon as we possibly can.
Great. Roll call vote.
David Costa,
Yes.
Stephanie Housh,
Yes.
Rebecca Jenkins,
Yes.
Jennifer Regolick,
Yes.
Nicole Segura,
Yes.
Josie Shattuck,
Yes.
motion carried.
May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes regular and executive session minutes from June 17th, 2025, bills payable, treasurer's report, IASB membership dues, personnel action report, PSL, third learning super eval agreement, superintendent goals, job descriptions, and board committees.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Sorry. I finally did it, guys.
Nicole's first and David's second.
Any questions on any of these items? All right, roll call vote.
Stephanie Howe,
Yes.
Rebecca Jenkins,
Yes.
Jennifer Regoli.
Yes.
Nicole Segura,
Yes.
David Costa,
Yes.
Josie Shattuck.
Yes.
Motion carried.
May I have a motion to approve resolution 2025-10, reauthorizing declaration of Illinois Route 176 as hazardous route due to serious safety hazards?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
So this is something we do every year.
We do every year
Traffic.
because of we don't have any sidewalks, there's no bike paths, and for students then who live across the street from the school and have to cross Route 176. So you declare it as a hazardous route. That allows you then to transport all students who live within a mile and a half of the school on a bus.
Great.
You can get reimbursed. So you have drivers.
Any questions?
Just don't that.
Okay, roll call vote.
Rebecca Jenkins,
Yes.
Jennifer Regoli.
Yes.
Nicole Segura,
Yes.
David Costa,
Yes.
Stephanie Howe,
Yes.
Josie Shattuck.
Yes.
Motion carried.
May I have a motion to approve resolution 2025-11, authorizing a public notice for the FY26 tentative budget?
So moved.
Second.
Please explain this.
Yes, so this is in July. Normally we give you the 26 or the annual tentative budget. So you have the FY26 budget in front of you tonight. We normally don't have 30 days between the July meeting and the August meeting. So in the past, we've gone from July to September for approval, but since we have 33 days between July and August, we actually can have the final budget approved next month. So the recommendation is to display the tentative budget for 30 days in the district office, and then have the hearing next month, put the ad in the paper, of course, have the hearing for the tentative budget and produce the final budget in August. The slide deck that's in front of you tonight does have, you've done to slide 7, it talks about the actual budgets, you'll see it by fund, estimated revenues, estimated expenditures, estimated profit loss. And yes, I know it's red, $2.7 million. The majority of that would be the VAT, all of that actually is debt service and capital projects. So the bonds that we had in the future, we don't have revenue now, just interest on that. We still have the expenditures for that revenue, so the money is still there. And obviously in debt service, we have no revenue in debt service, but we have $1.6 million in expenditures, which would be the transfer from education and O&M to debt service to pay the bond and interest notes every year. If you recall, that's one of the things that we talked about last year when we did our levy, that at some point in time, you're going to want to change your funding structure for those bonds, not levy so much in ed and O&M, but actually levy in debt service to pay those notes. That will make your budget appear to be way more balanced than it does now, although you do have a balanced budget. Slide 8 shows you the revenues historically over the last 5 years. And you see in 21-22, we had $25 million, we dropped to 15. Those were the bonds, the first round of bonds. Second round of bonds was in 23-24. And so that's the money that we're paying out now on phase 2C. Expenditures by fund, and you can see that generally that's the opposite of where the revenues are, the expenditures are going the next year. Historically, you can see the P&L by fund from FY21 to FY26. Assumptions for this year's budget, obviously we are expecting salaries for staff. We're looking at 1.5 less FTEs. That's a half a social worker up, down 1 kindergarten for number of sections, down 1 permanent sub, the net's 1.5. Support staff up 1 for an additional bus route. Health insurance increased this year 7.9%. Other large expenditures that are outlined in the budget. Student Chromebooks, we update 1/3 of those every year. We throw them out. Staff Chromebooks and MacBooks, new and replacements, upgraded bus lease. And we are expecting the cost of natural gas and electricity to rise over the coming months. Additional capital outlay, we have about 1.4 in the phase 2C. that would be paid out this fiscal year, which is the project that's currently going on now. The Route 176 parking lot is not included in the budget at all, so no expenditures for that. That'd be FY27. And obviously the parking lot cameras, which you approved this evening, were our part of this budget. And looking at how that budget compares to your policy 420 on fund balances. So we have our adjusted cash balances on June 30th. That excludes early tax receipts. Looking at our forecasted surplus or deficit, the cash on hand estimated for June 30th of 2026. Backing out the capital expenditures and doing the math, we are estimating a forecast in next June to have 111 days of cash on hand, which is more than the 60 days that your policy requires. Public Act 102/0895 a few years ago created a new law that required us to disclose our cash balances twice a year. Once we're talking about our budget, and the second time we're doing our levy. So this will appear in both slide decks tonight, and next month will also appear when we do our levy in October, November, December. So the cash balances as of June 30th are listed there, all funds of 11 million. If you think back, I said the previous one, we had exclude early taxes, so that's about 3 million in early taxes we've already received for next year. That's backed out of on the previous slide, but we included on this slide because it is in the books on June 30th. This obligation that were secured with those funds, the obligation bonds from 21 to 23, the school bus lease and the copy lease. Questions on included in this, we have the other document, the full live working budget, which has all the different line items on it, and a copy of the state budget. The resolution to approve the public notice is also there as well. Questions from anybody on the board?
No.
Okay.
No? Alright. Seeing none, roll call vote.
Jennifer Regolick. Yes. Nicole Segura.
Yes.
David Costa.
Yes.
Stephanie House.
Yes.
Rebecca Jenkins.
Yes.
Josie Shattuck.
Yes.
Motion carried.
May I have a motion to approve resolution 2025-12 to transfer funds from operations and maintenance fund 20 to debt service fund 30?
Moved.
Second. Questions about this?
So this is our annual July transfer to pay interest, which is due in August. And then we have another one in January, it's due in February to pay principal and interest on the bonds.
Roll call.
Nicole Segura.
Yes.
David Costa.
Yes.
Stephanie House.
Yes.
Rebecca Jenkins.
Yes.
Jennifer Regolick. Yes. Josie Shattuck.
Yes.
Motion carried.
May I have a motion to approve the first reading of board policy press 119 addition solutions changes?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments on this?
There's one question in this round of press updates for board response. It's on item 2.80, board member oath and conduct. Talking about, do you want to have something in there about taking disciplinary action or sanctions against the board member? The default is no, but if the board wants to have that, then you can add some language to that particular policy. You do not have it currently, and I'm not necessarily recommending that you do that.
Okay. I think we leave it as is.
I agree.
Good as is?
I think so.
Okay.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Any opposed? Okay, great. May I have a motion to adjourn? Your motion to adjourn at 7:25 PM.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
I
I'm opposed to that.
Motion carried. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
have a good evening.
Bye-bye.